As with most parts of an APA-style manuscript, the results sections tend to have a few common elements, but those elements are presented a little differently for each study. We can think of the results section as having 6 common components, as noted in this slide. Including a sentence with the question or the hypothesis helps the reader remember what they're looking at, as does an explanation of how the scale scores were computed. Then the descriptive statistics provide an additional context by giving information about the sample that helps the reader understand what we're reporting for the correlation analysis, which is the inferential analysis. The statistics are presented using what's called statistical notation, which is a fancy way of saying abbreviations. It's obviously more than just numbers, though. Please pause the video to review this example. In this case, the scoring information for both scales is addressed in one sentence, but if there are 2 measures, it's helpful to separate that information into 2 sentences. The numbers and information in parentheses is what I'm talking about when I say statistical notation. You might remember that idea from the participants practice section. Reporting the results of the correlation analysis is a little different than the descriptive because we don't usually say the correlation coefficient was. Instead, we use words to describe or explain the direction, strength, and significance, then put the actual numbers in parentheses with abbreviations like I have on the right. Note that we include 3 numbers. The correlation guide points out where to find those numbers. The first is the degrees of freedom for the analysis. It goes in parentheses after an italicized R, lowercase, and is computed by subtracting 2 from the number of participants in the analysis. The second number is the correlation coefficient from the Pearson correlation row in the SPSS output. And the third number is the significance level from the SIG two-tailed row in the output. Typically, we round those numbers to 2 decimal points.